Since the day that I announced my candidacy, I set out to find a partner. So Pennsylvania, I'm here today because I found such a leader. Governor Tim Walz of the great state of Minnesota.
Tim Walz highlighted his rural background and criticized Donald Trump, asserting that Trump would regress the country during his first appearance as Kamala Harris's running mate at a lively Democratic Party rally. At the Philadelphia event on Tuesday night, the newly announced vice presidential nominee described their Republican opponents in the upcoming November election as odd. Walz, the governor of Minnesota, spoke to thousands of supporters shortly after being chosen by Harris. The Trump campaign promptly labeled Walz as a dangerously liberal extremist. Walz, aged 60, is seen as a candidate who could reclaim rural and working-class voters in key Midwestern states who have shifted toward Trump. In Pennsylvania, a critical swing state, Harris described her and Walz as the underdogs in a tight race but emphasized their growing momentum. She introduced Walz as a champion of the middle class and a patriot. Walz then shared his modest beginnings in Nebraska and his career as a National Guardsman and educator, contrasting himself with Trump. "He has no understanding of service because he is preoccupied with serving himself," said Walz, a former Army sergeant and football coach. He received significant applause when criticizing Trump's criminal record, prompting chants of "lock him up" from the audience. Walz also drew approval by using a viral criticism that had caught Harris's attention during her selection process. "These opponents are not only creepy, but also peculiar," he remarked about the Republicans. He expressed eagerness to debate Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance, if Vance is willing to participate. Both Walz and Harris positioned themselves as defenders of individual freedoms, particularly on abortion rights and gun violence prevention. Walz, with his straightforward, relatable style, criticized Republicans on abortion access, saying, "Mind your own business." This comment was met with a standing ovation from over 10,000 attendees at Temple University. Harris and Walz have embarked on a 5-day tour of key battleground states and will speak at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago from August 19th to 22. As the current two-term governor of Minnesota, Walz has led one of the most effective legislative sessions in the state's history, advancing a comprehensive progressive agenda. Democrats used their control of the state legislature to secure abortion rights, implement gun control measures, and introduce paid family leave. Republicans have criticized Walz for his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, including the mask mandate, business and school closures, and the delayed deployment of the National Guard during the unrest following George Floyd's murder in 2020. Earlier on Tuesday in Philadelphia, Vance, Trump's running mate, criticized the new Democratic ticket, suggesting that Harris's choice of Walz shows she is influenced by her party's most radical elements. Trump's campaign stated, "Like Kamala Harris, Tim Walz is a dangerously liberal extremist, and the Harris-Walz California vision is a nightmare for Americans." President Joe Biden, who suspended his re-election campaign last month to endorse Harris, stated that the Democratic ticket will be the strongest defenders of our personal freedoms and democracy. Another finalist for Harris's running mate, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, also attended the rally. Shapiro faced criticism from the left for his stance on Israel and his response to college protests regarding the Gaza conflict. Some Trump advisors felt relieved that Harris did not choose Shapiro, fearing his potential to sway Pennsylvania. Before his tenure as governor, Walz served 12 years representing a Republican-leaning district in Congress, winning the seat in 2006, the only Democrat to do so in the past 30 years in the predominantly rural district. Walz, a Nebraska native and son of a school administrator and homemaker, grew up farming and hunting. He served in the Army National Guard for 24 years, starting at age 17. He also taught secondary school, including a year in China, a country he has visited about 30 times, and speaks some Mandarin. His wife, Gwen Whipple, also a teacher, brought him to her home state of Minnesota, where he taught social studies and geography and coached American football.